Helen Yee here at Xtreme Couture. Always great to be joined by the one and only and the Twitter or X fan favorite, Jake Shields. Always great to see you.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you too.
Yeah, first off, love the shirt. Represent.
Represent Nate Diaz's company, so great company. Got to support my friends.
Yes, definitely. And I love and respect the loyalty between all of you guys.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to be one of the most, probably the most loyal team in the game. After 20-something years, we're all super close friends. We all still work together, train together, and that's pretty much unheard of in the sport.
Yeah, and you guys do a lot of seminars, right? You just had one down in San Diego.
Yeah, me and Nate done a few seminars together recently. It's been turning out really well because we trained together for so many years, so we teach very similar, so it's kind of fun going in. We kind of riff off each other's moves and go back and forth, show stuff. It makes it super easy teaching a seminar when there's two of us going back and forth, and I think it's fun for the people too because we're joking around, having a good time. So,
yeah. Well, do you guys have any other ones coming up?
I think we're doing a couple, but they're not finalized yet, so I don't want to announce anything. Okay. Doing business with Nate, a lot of times he comes in a couple weeks' notice for the seminars. He's not a huge planner, but I'm pretty sure we are going to do things soon. I just don't want to make any announcements until they're finalized. I got to wait to Nate to give the full agreement.
But it will be on your social media, which people follow.
Exactly. I'll post on my social media. Nate will probably post them on his. So a lot of times we do stuff last minute, but we push it out and still works. So.
Well, it's always great to see you and catch up because this past week overall in the sport of MMA and combat sport, super eventful. Most recently, someone Dillon Danis, his fight against Logan Paul. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch fights. I thought it was later. I forgot it was in England. I did watch clips though, and it kind of like I expected. Dillon's not a good boxer. Dillon did a good job. I mean, really, Dillon was a winner coming out of that fight with the marketing. Dillon was a complete clown of MMA, laughingstock MMA, and he managed to pick up, I think, over 500,000 new followers off that and get a ton of hype, ton of respect. Not necessarily respect, but he got a ton of fame, which he's looking for. He's not a good boxer. From the clips I saw, it looked like he got beat up, which is kind of exactly what I expected. But it's kind of weird, he went in, lost the fight, and still came out the winner.
I believe he lost because of DQ.
Oh, really? Is that what I saw? Where there was a big brawl broke out? Was that what happened? They DQ'd it. So, what round was it in? Like
6th round.
So Dillon was surviving. I hear
he did survive. He did not get knocked down.
Yeah. So I mean, really, that's a win for Dillon. He might get a no contest. Got paid. Got kind of punk Logan on social media. So I think Logan came out the loser in that.
Something else in that buildup that they were talking about was Dillon was talking about the drug testing and whatnot. And speaking of drug testing, in the UFC now, it looks like end of December, USADA, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky one because it is, you want clean athletes, but there's a lot of complaints about USADA too, the way they show up at your house at like 6 in the morning. And I don't know, for me personally, if I'm woken up, I can't fall back asleep after. So, I mean, I'm not fighting anymore in the pool, but if they would come, I'll get woken up. I mean, I usually, you fight at night. So I would wake up at like 10 when I was fighting. They'd wake you up at 6 in the morning. They just killed 4 hours of your sleep. I go to bed 2 or 3. And you have your shot to wake you up. And I think a lot of fighters are night people like that because we train, a lot of us train we usually fight around 9 p.m. So if you're training for a fight, you should be training 9 p.m. And to have your USADA come in and wake you up at 6 in the morning completely screws your schedule up. Plus they can give you misses like people like me, Nick Diaz. We're around, we're constantly going places. Oh, you're not home. They give you they say you failed a test because you weren't home when they called you. I might be out hiking, my phone's not working. You don't pick it up, then they'll say you ditch a test. There's a lot of problems with USADA too. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. It's a little bit of a mix.
Sounds stressful though.
Yeah, the people don't understand the stress they put on the fighter. I think Paulo Costa was tested like a couple hundred, like 100 and something times, something absurd, like almost every day. So can you imagine every day you get woken up at 6 in the morning, you have a guy come in, you might have to piss, he stays in your room, he wants to see your when you piss, you have to drop your pants, you have some staring dude sitting there just staring at your cock. It's absurd that these, I don't know what kind of guy would do that. So he's probably a guy, because what guy for a living wants to go look at dudes take pisses, and they won't leave until you pee. So you might sometimes you might wake up, maybe you just peed and you got this dude and sit in your house for like 2 hours and you can't go back to sleep. They won't let you leave their site. So overall, it was a mess.
Literally can't leave their site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won't let you leave. He wants to see you strip down naked and pee. That's a little bit awkward, like some weird dude. And they're not kind of looking, they want to stare right at it. That's just some strange dudes. Can you imagine doing that for a living? Like, what kind of guy would pick that job?
But hey, you just mentioned Paulo Costa. Unfortunately, he's not able to fight this weekend. So now it's Kamaru Usman stepping up to fight Khamzat Chimaev at 185.
Man, great replacement. The only thing I don't like about that is such short notice. So what kind of shape is Usman going to be in? I mean, I'm still glad. I mean, I hope he was training for this. Hope maybe they had like some kind of maybe was he training for something else? I don't think he was he? No. So yeah, he's probably not going to be in fight shape. It's the only downside, but it's still a great fight.
Who do you think will win though?
You know, if he'd had a full camp, I would say it was like a toss-up. But without a camp, I'm gonna have to go with Chimaev because it makes a big. You know, is it a 3 or 5 minute, 3 or 5 round fight? Do you know?
3 round.
So yeah, it gives him a little bit of a shot because Chimaev comes out at such a crazy pace. So if you're not in good shape, that's a tough guy to fight.
Well, it looks like the winner will be fighting Sean Strickland.
So they're not giving it to the white guy from Africa.
Oh, Dricus du Plessis.
So is he not getting a title shot, or is he hurt or something? I thought he was in line for a title.
It looks like he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. The UFC will just switch things out. Yeah, no, I think it's a good fight. Whoever fights Sean, I think Sean will win either one of those. Close fights, but I'd pick Sean for both of those.
Well, Sean beat Izzy down in Australia, and it looks like Izzy recently announced that he's going to be taking a little break from MMA. Do you think that's a good idea for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough sport. I think sometimes you need a little time off. Sometimes it's better if you take like 6 months off, 6 months totally off, maybe some light training. Then you can start thinking about fighting again. You know, maybe not fight for a year. It's tough when you're doing fight after fight. It's all your life is. Plus, every one of his fights is massive. It's not like it's a small fight. He's pretty much the main event in his last 10 fights, either main or co-main. Probably main, but if not co-main. So it's massive. The amount of media you do for that, the stress. When you're in a main event, the media is crazy. So you're like fight week media. It's a lot of stress and pressure. So I think it would be good for him to step away for a minute, get that hunger back, and come back.
Yeah, and he certainly has earned the well-deserved break too.
I think it's a smart move. He's obviously feeling a little burnt out, or he wouldn't be taking it. But I think taking that break will make him miss the sport again, love it. He'll have the desire to step in there and train. You know, he'll have a little relief without constantly thinking, when am I fighting, when am I fighting? So I think it's a good move. We might see Izzy come back super strong again.
And this weekend in that main event at UFC 294, another late replacement fight, Islam versus Alex Volkanovski, that rematch. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, it's a fight that I'm really excited to see. It's kind of a toss-up, but again, I'm probably gonna have to go to Islam again because the short training notice. Unless he was training as an alternate, that'd be the only thing. It's gonna be hard to beat Islam for a 5-round fight without being in great shape.
Yeah. Well, I think Mateusz Gamrot was initially supposed to be the backup if Charles was fighting.
Yeah, so I just feel like it's a little weird that he jumped and took that fight because he's certainly not desperate. He was going to get that fight anyways. I would have preferred to see him have a full 8-week training camp and fight that in shape because the first fight was so competitive, so close, and so good. I'm still looking forward to the rematch, but I think it would be a lot better if he'd had a proper training camp.
And earlier you talked about Nick and Nate. How are they?
Great. You know, I was hanging out with Nate. Was it last week in San Diego? That was fun. We hung out down there. And then Nick, I think he's up in SAC. Haven't seen him in like a month, but he's doing good. You know, I've been training, not crazy, but training a little bit. He keeps saying he wants to come back in and fight, so hopefully we'll see that.
Yeah. UFC or?
I think UFC. You know, I think he's still in contract with them. He's, you know, that would be where he'd fight.
But what about you? Because every time we've spoken, you're always in amazing shape. You're always here training.
Yeah, I just stay in shape. I'm not looking for fights. If it was a good opponent and a good payday, I would hop in and do it.
Dillon Danis?
Yeah, I would beat up Dillon Danis. I would have beat up Mike Jackson, but I don't want to make that clown any money now that he's pressing charges. Dude, press charges over me clowning him in the gym. I think his pride was hurt. He challenged me to mutual combat. You know, on writing. We agreed to fight on site. We seen each other. So, you know, he starts talking crap. So I threw him on the ground. Didn't even hurt him. Just slapped him around a little bit. And then he goes and calls the cops. A guy who he pushed defund the police is the funny part. He said a black man can't safely call the police. And then he runs and calls the police.
And for the fans who love you and can't wait to see more from you, what would you like to let them know?
Well, just thanks for all the years of support. You know, you can follow me at Jake Shields on Instagram or Jake Shields AJJ on Twitter. I see a lot of shit talking on Twitter, not like it, but it can be fun.